Have you been living in your house for a very long time? Has it been foreclosed on? Then you can expect to be killed by police. This last week, we had an incident in Arizona. A 64-year-old man was shot and killed by the police in front of his own home because he refused to vacate. He had fallen on tough times. So what happened was this. His house had been sold by his bank at an auction. Then, the next day, the bidders, gleeful as ever at their cheap find, showed up and knocked on his door and asked him if he would like help moving out. His response: he went in his house, he picked up his handgun, he came outside, and he started shooting at them. They fled like the cowards they are, and called police, who then came and surrounded his house from every direction. Sharpshooters on the roofs. We're talking, mobile attack vehicle, the works. At any rate, he went back inside and got a beer, and he began to drink. The police tried to reason with him for an hour. "Oh, that's so compassionate of you." And his response was to fire back at the police vehicles. Eventually, the police killed him in his own home. They shot him to death. This man was not a threat to anyone. If he had been left alone, the police never need have shown up. All he wanted was to continue living in peace in his own home, which he had lived in for 30 years. Now, I'm sure many of you will say, "Oh, but he didn't make the final payment, so it's justified for them to take his house away from him." Yes, what's an old man going to do after 30 years, probably unemployed, and they said he had just gotten over cancer, and that it reoccurred again? What was he going to do if he'd been kicked out of his house? Probably go to the streets. If you ask me, given the choice between fighting for your home and being homeless, I think I'll fight. This man will not be the last in this country. And while I should say violence is wrong and it's not right to do what he did, I can't. We're in a depression, but the people who have jobs and money don't realize that. I'm sure if this man had been able to work for a living, he would have tried to pay off his house. But in Arizona, there are no jobs to speak of. Good luck. And the safety net in this state is pathetic. As far as I'm concerned, this man is a national hero. It's time that more people start fighting back and say enough is enough. Where are we all going to go? Go live out in the streets? Millions upon millions of Americans just living in camps or in ditches? It's ridiculous. There is more than enough housing in this country for every man, woman, and child in this country. And just because capitalism dictates that if you lose your job and you can't pay, you should be homeless, is no reason that we should obey it. We are in a depression, and the rules have clearly changed. If you don't have the backbone to stand up to stupidity, it'll just roll right over you. Those of you who have an inkling of what's coming in this economy know that things are going to get far, far worse. How many hundreds of Americans are we going to allow to die this way, in this senseless manner? Because we all know that someday no one will be making mortgage payments after the economy collapses, and it's coming. You know that. Well, most of you know that.